We are back with another episode of Joe's Knows NBA. We got episode 5 here today. Once again, I'm Giacomo Prali, joined here by Avery Stats, Zaylu, and Izzy Metal. Guys, we have two big segments to go over today. Obviously, in-season tournament just kicked off. As we are currently filming this, we got a couple games going on. Knicks Bucks is on right now. Lakers Suns later tonight. So we're going to pull the bracket up right here. And for our first segment, we're just going to predict the bracket. So if we can pull that up real quick. There we go. So there's the bracket. So we've already had an upset in the East. The Pacers have beaten the Celtics. And in the West, another upset. The Pelicans have beaten the Kings. And then, as we said, those other two quarterfinal games happening as we speak. So we can predict those, and we can as well predict the semifinal game. So Avery, I'm going to start with you. The game going on right now. Knicks Celtics. What do we got? Or excuse me, Bucks Knicks. What do we got?
Just from what I saw earlier while the game was going on, I'm picking the Bucks. Like, I know you like the Knicks, but the Bucks are a clear favorite. Like, there's not much else to say. And then in the West, I'm taking the Suns over the Lakers. I don't care that the Lakers are the number one seed in the West. Like, I'll use what I said last episode. They're the most inconsistent team I've ever seen. They're 12-9 right now. I don't think that really matters in the in-season tournament. I don't know if it ever will as this tournament continues to progress. But I'm taking the Suns. I just don't see how they can guard Kevin Durant, and we've never found an answer to that.
Yeah, I mean,
and then out of the West, I'm going upset here. Pelicans. I think this team could actually finally win something meaningful to New Orleans. And then out of the East, I'm taking the Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton. Oh my gosh, this kid can play. Like that should be fun to see against a young Pelicans team, especially if Zion's playing, which I think he is. But give me the Pacers to win the first ever NBA Cup. I mean, I just like what I'm seeing from Tyrese Halliburton and company, and it should be interesting as it gets deeper into the tournament.
Yeah, sneaky team out of the East. I think that would shock a lot of people if the Pacers are able to come out, not of the East alone, but win the whole thing, take down one of the four powerhouse teams in the West. But Zaylu, I'm going to throw it over to you. Give us your full bracket prediction and what you see happening here.
So for me, I'm sorry, Giacomo. It's going to be 2-0 for the Knicks today. The Milwaukee Bucks I have going on to the semifinals. I mean, just the work that Giannis and Damian Lillard have put in to get their chemistry up and going. And so far in this game, I believe they both have over 20 points as of the time of recording. Both of those players are going to bring the Bucks a lot farther than this in-season tournament. I'm going to say back in when we're in June, this is going to be a team that we're going to look out for. In the West, I actually have the Lakers beating the Suns. I mean, I know they've been very inconsistent as of late, but the injuries to the Suns, I just think they're not going to get over it. Kevin Durant, we've seen him do it by himself, but no Booker, no Bradley Beal tonight. LeBron is questionable for this game, but Anthony Davis probable to play this game. I think him and a lot of key factors off of this bench are going to get it done for the Lakers. But this does not mean I have them coming out of the West. Avery, I'm actually going to agree with you. We have the same finals on the West Conference side. I have the Pelicans and the Lakers playing and the Pelicans coming out of the West. I think this team is extremely talented right now. They just got back CJ McCollum. This team has a very good player in Trey Murphy III, and you have Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram, and someone who is not being talked about enough, Jordan Hawkins from UConn, the rookie. He has been playing amazing. He's been fitting into his role on this Pelicans team. This Pelicans team can play offense, rebound, and play defense. It's everything you want to see as a team, and I expect them to win it out in the West. But on the East side, it's just business as usual. The Milwaukee Bucks will get it done against the Pacers. I know the Pacers had 4 players in double figures. Amazing. But against a Milwaukee Bucks team with 2 of the best players in the NBA, I just think it just won't be done. But to be said, A championship is coming to New Orleans. They got to get their beads on. They got to get everything and treat it like it's Mardi Gras, because this will be the first parade in a while for the city in New Orleans.
Yeah, I mean, a really tough Pelicans team. I just want to point out, you mentioned CJ McCollum. Most people don't realize averaged over 20 points per game last year for that Pelicans team. I mean, mid-range shooter. I mean, he's just a great all-around ball handler for that team. You mentioned Jordan Hawkins as well, having a breakout rookie year, looking like one of the best rookies in that draft class so far, in my opinion. So, but Izzy Metal, I'm gonna throw it over to you. Give us your predictions on what you see happening here.
Yeah, and right before I give these predictions, I just want to say how amazing these brackets are. There's already been two upsets between the Kings Pelicans and the Celtics Pacers. These next two games are both really really close. Like two for two, these teams definitely could put a fight up to the buzzer, and it's just a really really amazing tournament. And I feel like it could go be a really 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 competitive thing. From the quarterfinals in the East, from the Bucks versus Knicks, I'm gonna be the first person. Maybe, probably, Glock's gonna agree with me here. I'm taking the Knicks out of this one. I think in form, the Knicks are doing really, really good. They've won 4 out of the last 5. They're third in the East. They're really on the come up. And with Jalen Brunson popping off really, and Julius Randle getting back into form, and all the bench players also doing their impact, I feel like they could definitely pull away from this Milwaukee team in around the third, fourth quarter. Um, from the quarterfinals in the West, Lakers Suns, this is also going to be a really, really close game down to the buzzer. But I'm just taking the Lakers if LeBron's playing. If LeBron's playing, this team is going to be really, really tough to beat. As inconsistent as they are, I feel like Phoenix just also been probably more inconsistent. I feel like the Lakers will pull through it. Another game down to the buzzer. Both of these two games are going to be really, really close. And with the Kings versus the Lakers, the Pelicans versus the Lakers coming up, I think that the Lakers are going to win that one too. I feel like Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram have both been an amazing duo this season. But I feel like LeBron James and Anthony Davis, when they're healthy, they are almost unstoppable, close to none. Probably one of the best teams in the league. I feel like they have a really, really, they have amazing depth. They have the 2 stars. I feel like they could definitely beat this New Orleans team. And from the looks of it, the Knicks versus Pacers. A lot of both 2 of you have both taken the Pacers. I'm taking the Knicks on this one. I feel like they're making to the finals. I feel like Tyrese Halliburton, being that main guy for the Pacers, has had an incredible season this year. He's been one of the best players in the league, but I feel like Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson being in this form right now, they're also almost an unstoppable team. I feel like they're going to do really really good. And from the finals, we see the Lakers playing the Knicks. This is also another really close game. I love all these games, all these competitors. It's amazing. And I feel like the Lakers are going to win it. I feel like they're going to get the first in-season tournament cup. I feel like LeBron James and Anthony Davis, it's just a really, really good duo. I feel like they're better than the Knicks. I feel like they have more depth than the Knicks, just barely. I feel like it's going to go down to the buzzer, but it's going to be a good game. I'm taking the Lakers to win it all.
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned multiple times before, not a Lakers guy, but I'll run through mine real quick. In the first game in that quarterfinal East game, I am going to take my Knicks to beat the Bucks. I think that, like Zay said, 4 out of 5. Knicks are a very streaky team. Normally, they win a lot of games in a row, and then they'll go on horrid losing streaks, and they won't shoot. The one thing I want to mention, though, stat-wise, that really catches my eye is that I'm not the biggest RJ Barrett fan, but it's just the efficiency for me. He's taking less shots and shooting better efficiency, almost 45% from the field this year, way better. That's career best by far so far. So that efficiency alone has been a big reason why I feel like the Knicks have generated more offense. He's taking less shots and taking better looks and making more of his shots. So I'll take the Knicks over the Bucks in that one. In that late game tonight, Lakers Suns. Suns just got more firepower, man. I mean, I don't really care who's on the court. I was at Knicks Suns. The Suns have a lot more depth than people give them credit for. I mean, Eric Gordon dropped 24 against the Knicks. I mean, that man can still hoop. He's having a really underrated season off the bench for that Suns team. I mean, that Suns team just has a whole lot of firepower outside of those stars they have in KD, Beal, and Booker. So that'll set up Knicks Pacers in the East, and this is where I'm going to disagree with Izzy Metal. I'm going to take the Indiana Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton, I'd probably say is my favorite player in the NBA right now. I mean, averaging 27 points a game and 12 assists, unheard of numbers, John Stockton type of numbers. I mean, this guy is he's cementing himself as one of the best players in the NBA and one of the best players in the East, in my opinion. He's just looked absolutely unstoppable so far. So I'm going to take him to take down the Knicks in a close game. And in the West, I'm going to hop on the Pelicans train too. I mean, I just mentioned CJ McCollum, sneaky 20 points per game coming back into that lineup. I think, and I want to mention, I think this is where Brandon Ingram is really going to step up. I mean, he has always shined in these big time moments, even since he was a young kid with the Lakers. I mean, you just saw him. He would put up in the playoffs, he put up at least 15 points per game. Like Brandon Ingram shines in those big moments. I think we're really going to see that big step up from him. I think that's going to let New Orleans win it all. Zelo, I'm going to agree with you. I think the Pelicans are going to bring it home to New Orleans. I mean, just, again, a really streaky team. I loved what I've seen out of this New Orleans team. So I'm going to take the Pelicans to bring it all home out of the West.
Yeah, Guak, I'm gonna hop in real quick. When you disagree with me on both the Pelicans Lakers and the Knicks Pacers, I can't even disagree with you. I feel like both of those games are extremely close. It's not even funny. Both of them I feel is gonna go down to the buzzer. It's not gonna be any blowouts of any sort. You could take any one and you could argue your case. Honestly, I wouldn't mind it because Tyrese Halliburton has been on form, and it's not even funny how good of a player he is right now. Same thing with the Knicks, 4-5. 4 in the last 5, I said. Julius Randle is picking up form. So is Jalen Brunson. Really, really close game. And also with the Lakers Pelicans, Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson is a really great duo. So is LeBron James and Anthony Davis. 2 extremely close games. You could take the Pels. It is a really, really fun tournament. You could see any team winning it from this bracket right now. Yeah, that's what I have to say.
Yeah. If anyone else has any more problems, feel free to answer up.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to step in real quick. Did you both say that? I mean, I can definitely see where you're coming from with the Knicks going on and beating the Milwaukee Bucks. That they have players like RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and Jalen Brunson, but those are their 3 contributors. And when all 3 of them are hitting and the others are not, it's very hard to win a game because you have players like Julius Randle, they can score 30. RJ Barrett will score around 14, 18 points, but the entire bench will be empty. Quentin Grimes cannot live up in big moments. Emmanuel Quickly, we've seen him already in the playoffs. He deprives himself of shooting, and it's something like what I like to describe. It's like a man in the desert who cannot get water. Emmanuel Quickly cannot shoot for his life when he cannot get it. Another thing that I also have to bring up, Mitchell Robinson, the center, that is a key piece for the Knicks to win a game. And Isaiah Hartenstein, when he is not hitting and both of your centers are not going, there is no way I see in my eyes that this New York Knicks team can beat a Bucks team with this type of play.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to hop in here real quick and defend my Knicks. I mean, I don't really get the Emmanuel Quickly slander. He's shooting over 40% from the field. It's his rookie playoff season, and he's not like the go-to guy. He's not going to take a lot of shots. Yes, he is that spark plug. I mean, in the regular season, he's an absolute dog. I mean, he's one of the best players on the court for the Knicks all year. Currently in the game right now, he's only taken 2 shots. He's shooting 50% from the field. He's 1 for 2 from 3. So, I mean, like RJ Barrett and Randall and Brunson are going to take all the shots. Like, that's what's going to happen. I mean, do I wish Randall was taking less shots? Absolutely. And that's why I think that the Knicks could possibly lose this game is Randall's going to shoot a nice 7 for 22 and have a bunch of breaks from 3. That's why the Knicks are going to lose that game possibly. But I don't get the Quickly slander there. I mean, it's his rookie playoff season. He struggled a little bit, but he didn't struggle as near as RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett was a desert last playoff. He could not hit a shot to save his life in that Cavs series. So I don't get why we're hating on Quickly where there's other aspects of the Knicks that are 100% worse than him and his lack of ability to come off the bench.
Yeah, I'm going to do something that Isaiah and I don't do much unless it's flaming the Knicks, is we're going to agree. I'm changing to taking the Lakers over the Suns. I forgot that Beal and Booker were out for the game. But I will back up Guac just a little bit on the Knicks. You have to forget Dante DiVincenzo and Josh Hart. Well, they're not the kind of guys who's going to go out and score 30, score 40, and take 100 shots a game. They're the hustle guys. They do all the little things that gets this Knicks team to look good. They get the steals, they get the rebounds, they die for loose balls, and they did that in college when they were at Villanova too. But right now, Julius Randle has 36 points, but I just don't see a way for them out against a Milwaukee Bucks, who currently, looking at the box score, Giannis with 29, Middleton with 10, Lillard with 23, Brook Lopez bringing up a 9, and Beasley bringing up another 9. I just don't see them beating a Bucks team that just essentially just like a brick running into a brick wall with which is how strong they are on offense and their defense. I don't know, but against a Knicks team, I'm taking the Bucks. I'm not changing anything else except for the Lakers. So Isaiah, thank you. You corrected me, but yeah, I'm taking the Lakers now.
Yeah, before we move on to our next segment, I mean, one thing to point out is like I think that this could be a very early, I mean, maybe an Eastern Conference final matchup. I mean, these are two teams that I think can go very far. I know Avery and Isaiah shaking their head. I think the Knicks can go that far. I mean, you never know. I'm not a big Celtics guy. I'm not really a bit.
I'll
not
revert
really-
back to my take from last episode. They're the Knicks. They're not getting that far. They're the Knicks. All
You don't
right?
know that.
This is not an Eastern Conference Finals matchup.
None-
Eastern
none-
Conference Finals
I
matchup.
love this team. I love this team, but I'm sorry.
I
Conference
can name
finals,
so many. I guess name many other teams that can make it.
I was going to say
I'm
an
sorry.
Eastern Conference.
Conference
There's
finals.
a
Finals
lot, there's a
matchup?
lot of them.
Stretch.
I'm
Sixers
just saying
and
potentially.
Bucks.
I didn't
Contested.
say it's
It's-
gonna happen. I'm saying potentially. Potentially
Listen,
can happen.
It's really really contested. There's probably 4 or 5 teams that could probably make it to the conference finals, but I don't see the Knicks being one of them, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I was just saying potentially. Nonetheless, it's a very good game.
Potentially, really, maybe like 2 in 100. But
All right.
that's it.
Nonetheless, it's a very good game. But that's gonna move us into our second and final segment of the night. We figured that about quarter through the width of the season, we've seen enough. So we are going to be doing top threes at each position. No future value. It's just for what you've seen so far, and just for the rest of this season. Your 3 guys who you want at each position. So you're going to list your top 3 in that order. So Avery, we're going to start with the point guards, and I'll kick it to you for your top 3.
All right. Well, a little biased, but not really. I mean, you just got to look at the numbers. Number one is, all right, relax. It's Steph Curry. Like, this dude is putting up unanimous MVP numbers again. 29 points per game, 4 assists, 43% from the 3-point line. No one does that consistently. And then 47 from everywhere else. Like this, he is the best point guard in the league right now. Now I'm going to save you guys from all the hate by throwing Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as my number 2. Very close, number 2. 29.9 points per game, 36 from 3. This dude is just showing out every night, and he's looking like someone who's going to take the next generation of the Thunder to that next level and get them back in the playoffs, like Russ and KD did back in the day. And he's shooting 53 from the field. Like this kid is ridiculous, and I don't see him slowing down anytime soon. I don't see him stopping. I just see these numbers going up. I think he could end up averaging 32 by the end come May during playoff time. And then number 3, Luka. I mean, what can't this guy do? Besides really nothing. 31.4 points per game. I think that's the highest besides Kevin Durant in the league. 38 from 3, 49 from the field. And in his last 10, he's shot 35% from the field and had 29.9 points per game at home. It's Luka. Like, what else do you want me to say? You want me to say everything that's bad about him? No, because there really isn't. It's Luka. He's a small forward at point guard. You can't stop him. You just can't.
Yeah, Zaylo, I'm gonna throw it over to you for yours if you have any other comments real quick, though.
I mean, first, I'm gonna have to throw this out there. Tyrese Halliburton is my number 1. Avery, you said I seen it. I already see it. Avery said that oh, who else is doing this but Stephen Curry, Tyrese Halliburton? That's who it is, to be honest. 44.7% from the field. You're shooting 52% from the field goal. You're averaging 27 points and 12 assists with 1.5 steals. 1.5 steals. So you play defense, offense, and you can get the ball to your scores. This man is ridiculous. He is single-handedly helping his teammates to get better points. Buddy Hield, Bruce Brown, he's helping them amazingly. And I just love him at my number one position. Number two, I'm going to have Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Absolute spectacular season. We have 30 points per game, shooting 54% from the field, and actually getting his rebounding numbers up to 5 and his assist numbers up to 7. That's something I really like to see. He's getting the ball in transition. He's getting his transition points. He's getting his teammates involved, and it's looking extremely well. Last guy I have to put up there, Luka Doncic. Just what can I not say that this man has done? I mean, it's a guy who just went off against my team early in the season, the Brooklyn Nets. He's spectacular. He can go off for 40 any single night. He can get you an assist. He can get you buckets in any single way possible, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, leaving Steph out feels wrong, but I mean, I'll get to mine in a little bit. But Izzy, man, I'll throw to you first for your top three. We want to hear what you got.
So I think both you two, Avery and Zaylu, have missed the obvious number one. I think it's Luka Doncic. He's averaging basically a triple double, 32.4 points a game, 9.8 rebounds a game, 9.2 assists, and these are just his last 5 games. But that's basically similar to his season stats. He's averaging a triple double. He's in the MVP conversation, probably number one at this point, battling against Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid, who are also two amazing players. I feel like Luka Doncic has to be the obvious choice to take number one because he's doing everything in basketball, not even as a point guard. He's doing everything in basketball, and he's doing it really, really good. He is the most unstoppable player in the league right now. Number two, I have Tyrese Halliburton at 27 points a game, 4 rebounds a game, and 12 assists. I mean, this guy's an elite playmaker. He's doing so many things on the court. As Zaylu pointed out, 1.5 steals. Really, really hard to get past him as well defensively. His jump shot's also really unique. It's hard to guard. I feel like this guy, you know, we're not supposed to talk about future, but this guy has a really, really bright one. I feel like he could go probably get a few MVPs, some few titles. And my number three, no one called this guy out yet. I don't have SGA. I have De'Aaron Fox. He's averaging 30.3 points a game, 4.7 rebounds, and 6.4 assists. He's been injured a few games, but when he is injured, the Kings are a lottery team at best. He is such a pivotal role to that team. It's not even funny. He is one of the best point guards in the league. I feel like not having Steph Curry, probably because the way that the Warriors been playing recently, their form hasn't been so good. I don't feel like Steph Curry deserves to be on the list. I feel like SGA was probably my number 4 option. It's really, really close between him and Fox, but I feel like Fox just takes it because how much of a role he plays at Sacramento.
Yeah, Izzy, real quick. I feel like me and you are on the same page. I don't have the same exact top 3, but it's very similar. I'm gonna go with Luka's one as well. He's in, like we all mentioned, in the MVP conversation. I don't need to really say anything else. Number 2, I'm gonna flip flop your bottom 2 guys. I'm gonna go De'Aaron Fox at 2. He is carrying that Kings team, averaging 30 a game. I mean, he's a guy that I think has just evolved so much. I mean, when he was first at the Kings, he really wasn't that great, and he's just evolved. He's unlocked the keys to the franchise at this point. I mean, he is just an absolute stud out there in Sacramento. And at number 3, purely because of the lack of help, I'm going to take Tyrese Halliburton at 3. He plays with nobodies. I mean, he really has no help. SGA has a dominant 7-footer that he has the privilege of playing with, and Steph Curry, his support system isn't great, but it's not absolutely terrible. The Pacers have no one to surround Tyrese Halliburton, and we just said they're the 2 seed in the in-season tournament in the regular season already, and he's just doing some very heavy lifting for that Pacers team.
Okay, I'm going to stop all of you right there. Izzy, you said that the reason you didn't put Steph in your top 3 is because his team is terrible. Well, if we're going based off team, then he's not even in my top 5. Where I thought we were doing individual players.
It is individuals.
We are individual players,
But-
but I feel like when I was doing this list, I feel like contributing to the team is a really good point. Being a point guard, I feel like he hasn't been doing that as well recently. You could call out like Klay Thompson hasn't been on form, Andrew Wiggins hasn't been on form, but I feel like being the point guard, you have to be the facilitator, you have to get wins, and Steph Curry isn't doing that kind of.
Okay, fair point. But that's what Chris Paul is for. Chris Paul leads the team in assists. Now, I have the only 30-plus-year-old in my top 5. The only other guy to put up these numbers is the one and only Michael Jordan. So the only other guy to shoot 50, 40, 90 at 35 and put up these kinds of numbers is Michael Jordan. So, yeah, I'm going to put Steph in my number 1 because no one else at 35 is doing this.
Please
That's why I
never
put him up.
compare Stephen Curry to Michael Jordan ever again.
I'm not comparing him to Michael Jordan. We're not going to go there. We can't go there. That's a whole different topic. But looking at the numbers right now, at the age 35, no one else has done these kinds of numbers besides Michael Jordan. The only other guy next to him, Steph Curry. Those are the only 2 guys that put up these kinds of numbers at the age 35 or older. Granted, LeBron's still in the league, so we don't know how that's going to end up. But other than that's why Steph is my number 1 point guard in the league, because he's doing things at the age of 35 that he did when he was 32 and 27 to 32. And so that's why I have him at my number 1. Because he's doing things that he should not be able to do, but he is.
Yeah, listen, Avery. I don't hate the take about having Steph at number 1. I just feel like he's not picking up his team enough. You mentioned Chris Paul, but I feel like being the starting point guard, you have to do that, and Steph Curry isn't really doing that. And all the other 3 players that I mentioned are having similar stats to Steph Curry, but their team is also doing somewhat good. That's why I don't have Steph Curry exactly in my top 3. But if the Warriors were doing if we were to go back for the first 5 games of the season, Steph Curry would be there.
100%. And that's what I was just about to say before I moved on to the next position is Avery. I wanted to explain, all of us get how good Steph Curry is and how proven he is in the playoffs. He's one of the top people that I want on a playoff team, 100%. But you see these young explosive guards like Halliburton and Fox just been going crazy, leading their teams to wins, have similar numbers to Curry, maybe not as good, but are up there. And they're also having that team aspect. As much as we don't want to lean on that, we do have to mention it.
Okay,
but
and
go ahead, real quick.
One more thing before we go to shooting guards. You guys all pick 25-year-olds or 20-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to be putting up these numbers because they're that young. They're supposed to be putting up these explosive numbers, dropping 40 a couple games in a row, and shooting the lights out. Steph isn't supposed to be doing this at 35. He's not supposed to be putting up 29 and shooting 43. That's why he has my number 1, because he's the oldest guy on any of our lists, but he's putting up numbers that a 25-year-old should be doing. That's why I have him at my number 1. I respect all your takes, but this is why I have him at number 1.
100%. Tough takes there. But Avery, I'll throw it over to you for the shooting guards. We're going to keep running through these real quick. Go ahead.
All right, I think I'll win some of you back. My number 1, Anthony Edwards. I mean, just this kid is just unreal. 28 a game on the nose, 5 assists a game. Actually, I might have that wrong. 26 a game, nearly six rebounds, 5 assists, and 46.5 shooting from the field. This is just unheard of in Minnesota. Minnesota used to be the most irrelevant team in NBA history, and then Anthony Edwards comes along and says, "Oh no, wait, let's look at us real quick," and he's putting this team on his back and making them look really good. And then number 2, Malik Monk. I know he comes off the bench, but I know it's a bit of a stretch. I know I lost most of you, but I do think that Malik Monk is one of the best shooting guards in the league. Isaiah, put your hands down. It's okay. You can flip-flop with this next one with Devin Booker. Granted, Booker injured, but these are who I have in my guys. If I want a shooting guard to play, then I'm picking one of these 3 guys. Now, I know I've lost all of you, and all of you are going to come back at me, but this is who I'm picking because Devin Booker is just – he's 6'6", 27 28 a game, 39 from three, a little shaky, 47.2 a game, and he's what, like 28, 29? Like he can still go up. This is what I'm looking at when picking my top three. How much better can they get as in terms of shooting guards? Granted, point guard's a different story, but Devin Booker can definitely get better. Anthony Edwards he can be in the MVP conversation the next, maybe even this season. I don't know. But I know I lost all of you with the Malik Monk take, but those are my top three, and I'm going to stand by it.
Zaylo, throw it over to you. Go ahead.
Avery, I'm gonna just have to ask now: are you related to Skip Bayless? Because both of your takes are absolutely egregious. These are Malik Monk. Oh yes, best shooting guard in the league. Second best shooting guard in the league. I'm gonna tell you who's actually the best. We have the best. Anthony Edwards, best shooting guard in the league. This man has been unconscious, like you said, 26 points per game. He's been getting the ball done, rebounding, and assisting the ball. Been doing absolutely amazing. I'm actually going to have to bring up another guy. It's been a little bit controversial for him. Desmond Bane. That's going to be I know it's it's still a better take than the Malik Monk, but it's very controversial. But Desmond Bane, I know his team has not been doing the best. Matt is going to love this take. 24 points per game on 45% shooting, and you're having 3.5 assists a game with 5.2 rebounds. That is just amazing for a guy who has to step in for an all-star like John Morant. We're finally seeing what he can do. And this has been without some of his biggest key partners on the Memphis Grizzlies. Just imagine what he can do with those key players on his team. He would be most likely up there in top 15 in scoring, in my opinion. At number 3, I'm going to have what I think everyone might be having right here. Donovan Mitchell, absolutely key player on this Cavs team. He's been just like Anthony Edwards, getting it done in scoring, passing, and his numbers are over 26 points per game, mostly probably over 27. And he's been doing very good on this Cavs team, and I think he'll most likely carry them into a deep playoff push in June.
Yeah, I think that, I'm still, no offense, Avery, I'm scratching my head on Malik Monk. That's a little bit of a head scratcher. Izzy Metal, though, I'll throw it over to you. Let's keep this all moving.
Listen, really quick, Zaylu, you can't be flaming Avery's takes and then throw in Desmond Bane. Okay, Desmond Bane he's not there. He's not.
This is my new favorite guy now.
15, he's not there. I think it's really obvious. The list what it should be. Number 1, but it is probably mine's a different order. Number 1, I have Devin Booker. I feel like he's having an amazing season so far. With the Suns, averaging 28 points a game, 6 rebounds a game, and 9 assists a game. Really, really good stats. And playing with Kevin Durant, obviously there's some leeway, but it's still a really, really good stat line to have as a shooting guard to be able to bring in that many rebounds and assists, not being the main ball handler. It is amazing to see from Devin Booker. Number 2, I have Anthony Edwards. He should be number 1, but I feel like I'm just bringing in stats a bit too much. He's averaging 26 points a game, 6 rebounds a game, and 5 assists a game. Not being that main facilitator like Devin Booker is, but still an amazing season. Don't really have to say much about him. And 3, Donovan Mitchell, 27 points a game, 5 rebounds a game, 5 assists a game. Doing this for a Cavs team that also been mediocre, but still not awful. I feel like Donovan Mitchell has been doing really good, being a good participant in his team, especially during their wins. And I'm giving an honorable mention to CJ McCollum. I feel like him playing at the Pelicans, he might be a point guard, but I think he's a shooting guard. I feel like, they've been clicking really good with Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson. He's been racking a lot of assists. I feel like he should deserve a good honorable mention.
Yeah, real quick, me and Izzy are just completely on the same page today. I have pretty much the same list, except I'm going to flip-flop that top 2. I'm going to go Anthony Edwards at 1, just because he plays more all-around basketball than Devin Booker does. Devin Booker's just a pure scorer. Anthony Edwards, like Zaylu said, he's way higher assists, more rebounds, and he's just more of an all-around good basketball player. I'll still have Devin Booker at 2, though, for how good he is, and then Donovan Mitchell at 3. And I was actually thinking about mentioning CJ McCollum in my top 3 as well, because I think he's that good of a player as well. People forget how good he is in that mid-range, but me and Izzy are on the same page with that. Avery Stats, I'll move it right back to you. Here's our small forwards. Kick it off with your top 3.
All right. Number 1, I think is a pretty clear cut, even though they got knocked out of the in-season tournament. Jason Tatum, 27.6 points per game, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting nearly 50% from the field. It's last 10, 26 a game. Jason Tatum is finally putting it all together after losing in the playoffs, back-to-back years, exits in the finals, and then I don't know how they lost last year, but this kid has finally put it all together, and now he shows that he can lead a Celtics team that's 15-5. Even though they got knocked out of the in-season tournament, he shows that he can lead this team with Jaylen Brown behind him and Drew Holiday. He looks like he can just lead this team by himself all the way to the finals. And my number 2, this is the guy who knocked him out of the playoffs. Now that I think about it, Jimmy Butler at my number 2. Might lose some people. I already saw Guac lost it. But 22 points a game, not the Jimmy that we know. 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 46.8.
Uh-oh.
There goes Isaiah.
Didn't like it.
But it's okay, though, because the reason why I put Jimmy Butler here in number 2, playoff Jimmy. I know it's regular season, but playoff Jimmy is far better than regular season Jimmy, and that's the only Jimmy Butler that I really care about. That's why he makes my number 2. And then number 3, I'm going to go back to my age thing. LeBron James. If LeBron James is still in the league, he's still going to make my top 5 small forwards. This dude he should be falling over at this point. He should be broken, done, finished, retired. No. What is he? He's 39. He's nearly 40. He's averaging 24 a game, 55% from the field. He's carrying an inconsistent Lakers team. It's ridiculous. This is why he is one of the greatest players of all time. And enough said. That's it. That's LeBron James. That's just who he is at 39, averaging like almost near prime or almost prime LeBron James numbers.
Yeah, Zaylu, I'll let you debate Avery at the end, but give us your top 3 first real quick.
I mean, absolutely. He's 2 for 2 already, ladies and gentlemen. Terrible takes. Jimmy Butler and Malik Monk. I don't even know what insane assignment we need to put him in. Jason Tatum, I do agree with you at number 1. I mean,
no way.
I'm sorry. Jason Tatum, very good. He has been doing amazing. He's been getting it done in the paint. In his last game, I heard a terrible take on NBA radio today. They said it was Jason Tatum's fault because they lost and that the bench were getting it. I know he did not shoot the best from three-point range, but this man had 32 points in 37 minutes and 12 rebounds and 6 assists. That is exactly what you need to have every single night, and he has been producing those numbers every single night. That is what you want from the number 1 small forward in the league. Number 2, I'm going to have to say my king, my greatest of all time, LeBron Raymond James. He is number 2.
He went middle name on that one.
This man is over 35 years old doing what he does now. Who else is doing this? He has been getting it done for this team. I know his health has not been up to prime with what others want it to be. But LeBron has been getting it done for this Lakers team. And I believe that he'll keep it up. And his numbers will increase throughout the entire season and will be a lot bigger than this. And at my number 3 position, I mean, this is going to get a lot of people upset. I already know.
You joining the team on terrible takes today?
Let's hear it.
I think I might have to. I'm sorry. Lauri Markkanen. 34 minutes per game. I know his scoring is not the best, but this man rebounds like his life depends on it. 9.7 rebounds a game, 23.7 a night.
I don't hate it.
Double.
It's good. I don't hate it.
He's dropping almost a double a night, and the only thing he's lacking in is the assist category. We have until June to get that up, ladies and gentlemen. And his team, I know it's the Utah Jazz, land of nowhere. It's Utah, but Lauri Markkanen will get it done by June. His numbers are going to increase, and I mean, it's going to be paying off for me once this comes into June fruition.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly didn't hate it as much as I think that you thought people were gonna hate it. Izzy Metal, I'll throw it right over to you though.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to Avery's argument of age. My number one, the GOAT, LeBron James. I feel like he has been doing so many things this season for the Lakers. Probably better than Jason Tatum. I'm gonna throw up his stats. In his past 5 games, he's been doing really, really good. For his regular season stats, he's putting up 24 points a game, 7.6 rebounds, and 6.4 assists. He is doing so much on the floor. It's not even funny, and he's 38 years old. I mean, this guy should be retired right now. Michael Jordan was probably retired at this time, but LeBron James is doing this, and he's 38 years old. It's just funny. It's insane. You can't really say that he shouldn't be number one because he's just old and he's so good. Like, I don't know what else to say. Number two, Jason Tatum. I think people said enough for me. Number three, I'm gonna throw out Brandon Ingram from New Orleans. I feel like he's been doing really, really good this season. 23 points a game, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. Playing alongside Zion Williamson, it may be difficult to get the ball, but he figures out a way to get his shot off. He's a really good mid-range shooter. And at the line, he's also really solid. I feel like he should be in the conversation. There's obviously Jimmy Butler and players like that, but I feel like Brandon Ingram just takes the cake here.
Yeah, real quick. Me and Izzy kind of on the same page here. Not exactly. I'm gonna go Braun at 1, Tatum at 2 as well. I'm gonna be honest, that's completely biased because I hate Jason Tatum and he's a choker and doesn't win big games in the playoffs. I hate him.
Says the Knicks fan.
At number 3
That's the
though.
Warriors fan, 72-9. Keep going, John.
Oh,
That's all you got, bro. That's all you got. And yeah, how many championships does your Brooklyn Nets have?
All right, let's keep going.
This much. Let's get back to the show.
Well, yeah, I want to throw out my number 3. Mine isn't as crazy as Lauri Markkanen, but people overlook this man so much. And kind of like the Jimmy Butler thing, Kawhi Leonard just gets so overlooked now. When that man is on the court, he is dangerous. He can carry any team. He has the help he needs out with the Clippers. Now, do I think that team will do anything in the playoffs? Absolutely not. But Kawhi Leonard is just such a good player. He's only averaging 23 points per game right now. I get it. There's people having better numbers than him. But if you're talking about just purely, strictly who I want the rest of the year and who I want right now, I still want Kawhi Leonard to get. Paul George has better numbers so far, but I would still take Kawhi Leonard over him just by a slight margin. With that being said, though, not much debate other than, that right side of the screen over there. Just a little bit of back and forth. We'll kick it over to the small forwards. Avery, going to keep this one quick. Go ahead. Power forwards.
Power forwards. We just did small forwards. I mean, it's just easy. Number one, Isaiah might agree with me. He may not. Giannis Antetokounmpo, best player on the best team in the league, and it's not the Sixers. All right, relax.
I say the Sixers, but I don't think
the Bucks are the best team right now. The record may not show it. I don't know. Haven't really looked at the records, but based on what I saw tonight and what I'm seeing right now with 31 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, and it's plus minus, it's plus 16. Giannis Antetokounmpo, best player, definitely best power forward. You can make a case for MVP this year. He can make a case for the best player this year. I don't know about defensive player of the year. He shot 100% from 3 tonight. Probably because he only took 1 shot, but that's okay because Giannis Antetokounmpo he's the Greek freak. He's a brick wall running 100 miles down the floor. You can't stop him at full speed. Number 2, Kevin Durant. No question. Puts the Suns on his back every time they ask him to. He's a 7-foot guard. You can't guard him. You physically cannot guard him. We saw him against Wemby. Wemby still can't block his shot because the way he gets it off. Against LA this year, 38 a game, but this year 31 points per game, 51% from field goal. That's Kevin Durant, just shooting 50. But you don't see this guy miss. At 7 foot, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And at number 3, this is where I might lose some people, specifically Zag. Durant, Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr. Ninth scoring may not be there. It may not be there, but his defense and rebounding is absolutely there. 6 rebounds a game. Looking for the steals here. 0.6 steals so far this year, but last year was definitely, I think, at least 1.6, maybe 2. Reigning defensive player of the year, I think. I mean, this dude is just a defensive powerhouse, and that's why he makes my top 3. And I think for the first time tonight, like I think ever, Isaiah and I may have agreed on the top 3 list.
Zaylo, let's see. Did you agree? Did you go perfect 3 for 3 with Avery?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's 100%. It's 100%
Wow.
true. It's 100% true.
Let's
He
go.
has made it. Number 1 for me. Me and Avery have it the same. Giannis Antetokounmpo. This man is almost averaging a triple-double. He has been amazing. That's all I have to say. We're going to move on quick. Kevin Durant. Man has also been doing amazing. You have 31 points per game. You have 6 rebounds a game, almost 7 in that category, and 6 assists. Just tells you everything you need to know. At the 3 position, I'm actually going to have maybe a controversial pick right here. I'm actually going to put in Anthony Davis. I know he's been injured. Giacomo. I'm sorry.
I can get behind it, but like no. He just has to stay healthy. Then I can get behind it. But he's not healthy.
I'm taking it in the games that he's played. In the games that he's played, he's been doing very well, is what I'm going to say.
When he plays, because he's Anthony Davis.
His assist numbers have been great for a power forward. His scoring numbers very well, and he's also impacting his teammates. In the games that LeBron has played with Anthony Davis, he is averaging over 26 points a game. That shows that one player can impact the entire game. So that is why Anthony Davis is my number 3.
I mean, I'll talk a little bit more why I disagree with that, but Izzy Metal, I'm going to throw it over to you, dude.
Yeah, I think the top 2 are sort of obvious here. 1, Giannis, 2, KD. I mean, Giannis, unstoppable. KD, the greatest scorer in all of all time, I believe. Number 3, I'm gonna get an extreme amount of hate for this. I'm gonna get attacked. I don't really care. I'm taking Tobias Harris at number 3.
No.
My God!
Hear me out.
No.
Avery, I'm sorry. That Malik Monk take was amazing. That was beautiful. You now have questions. Come on, time. Oh my God.
Hear me out.
Dude, no.
Anthony Davis, he's good, right? But he's injured a lot.
Better than Tobias Harris.
Okay. Another option is Pascal Siakam, but he's been dropping the same amount, but actually pretty similar stats to Tobias Harris. If you don't believe me, you could check. I feel like Tobias Harris, since Kelly Oubre Jr. has been injured, has been stepping up significantly for Philadelphia. I feel like with him, especially against, I believe it was Boston, he had an amazing first half. He got the most points, out of players like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I feel like he's the best role player in the NBA, I think. And when Maxey, Embiid, and Oubre were out, the past few games due to illness, I feel like Tobias Harris has been picking it up really, really, really good. I feel like Tobias, he gets a lot of, no one recognizes him. No one gives them a lot of recognition but I feel because he's a role player, but I believe that Tobias Harris is the 3rd best power forward in the NBA.
See, I don't like to attack anyone, and to save argument from everyone else, I'm going to give you the one argument that you need. here are some guys that just have flat out better numbers that you can't argue. Anthony Davis does have better numbers. Okay, Tobias Harris. Julius Randle, better efficiency, better points per game, more minutes. He's on statistically a better player. Pascal
This guy with the
Siakam,
Knicks.
statistically a better player. I mean, Kevon Looney statistically is a better player than I'm
I don't
saying.
think
The center?
I don't think that's
He's a
right.
power forward technically. He's a power forward technically.
Dude,
But they all have better numbers than Tobias Harris. That's just a joke, in my opinion. But for my top three, I'm gonna keep it pretty quick. Me and Avery have the same top three in that order: Giannis, KD, and then I'm gonna have Jared Jackson Jr. at 3 as well. One of the best defenders in the league, holding down the fort while Ja's gone. Once again, get the wins aren't there, but I want him for the rest of the year. He can stop anyone. Not anyone. He can stop a lot of very talented players in the playoffs and in the regular season. Ending us off real quick, and run through our centers. Avery, I'll throw to you top 3 centers.
all right. I mean, maybe this. Yeah, I think best center in the league right now is he's probably gonna have them as like his top top three. Joel Embiid. I mean, MVP numbers again. 32, 11, and 6, 49 from the field. It's Joel Embiid MVP numbers yet again. This I might lose Isaiah again, but no, I'm just kidding. It's Jokic at number 2.
I was about to say.
Yeah, I was just messing with you. Jokic is number 2. I don't have to say anything. The dude speaks for himself. He shows up in a shirt and pants and then drops like 30. He doesn't even try at this point. He wants to go watch horse racing. I mean, this is pretty funny if you think about it, but it's Jokic, Joker. I don't have to say anything. He speaks for himself. And then number 3 might be a little bit of a wild take. I've had a few today, but Rudy Gobert. And I'll explain why, because that's what we do here. 13 points per game, 11 rebounds. He has not shown up in the last 2 years since he was traded to Minnesota or whenever the trade was. He hasn't shown up. This year, he has shown up because Anthony Edwards has shown up. So now he gets to go back to that defensive player that we all know when he was on the Jazz. He's grabbing rebounds like crazy. He's shooting 60% from the field. And there's not much else to say. Honorable mention, there are none. It's Embiid, Jokic, Gobert. That's my top 3.
Wow. See, I'm going to disagree at that end, but I'm going to let these two go first before I say anything. Zaylo, I'll throw it right back to you.
Yeah, it's kind of easy. You already know my top 2. It's gonna be Jokic at 1 and Embiid at 2. I did it just to make Isaiah mad. You're welcome. Number 3, Bam Adebayo.
That's a
He
good one.
he has been very good in what I've seen this season for the Miami Heat. 23 points a game. You're averaging 10 rebounds a game, and you're averaging 1.5 steals a game as a center, and you're averaging 4 assists a game as a center. I mean, his numbers are overlooked as a center. If Embiid and Jokic weren't playing how they were, he would definitely be up there in the top 2 conversation. But since they're people, he is number 3. I think that is the only way to go. But number 1 and 2 are interchangeable.
100% agree with that. Izzy Metal, throw it right over to you. Should be around the same, maybe a swap at 3 though.
Yeah. I know I can disagree with Zaylu on this. I agree with Avery. I think Joel Embiid is the best center in the league right now. Jokic is number 2, really close. Yeah, both of them basically unstoppable players. And number 3, I did have Bam Adebayo. It was a really good take from Zaylu, so I'm going to throw out another guy real quick, Miles Turner of the Indiana Pacers. I feel like he has been doing really good under Tyrese Halliburton's playmaking. He's averaged this season so far 16 or 17 points a game, 8 rebounds a game, 2 assists. It's not the best stats, but if you see him on the court, he is such a presence in the paint. It's really, really good to be a good presence in the paint, to be as a center, obviously. And Miles Turner is one of the best at doing that. He's one of the best defensive players in the league. He's averaging 2 blocks a game. You can't really get by him in the paint. He's a post playmaker also. I've seen him have some pretty good passes. All they don't always rack up as assists, but I feel like Miles Turner is a good shout for number 3.
Yeah, I think we can all agree some form of Jokic Embiid is your top two. I'm going to go Jokic at 1 just because of last year strictly, and I'll go Embiid at 2. Two very interchangeable people. At number 3, maybe a little biased. I'm going to go with the St. Joe's alum Karl Anthony Towns. I'm going to take Rudy Gobert's other counterpart. They're both technically centers. Cat offensively has way better numbers than Rudy. Obviously, again, Rudy is that defensive player, more rebounding. Cat and Bam Adebayo actually have very similar numbers, both averaging about the same points per game, same rebounds a game, same blocks per game, same assists. But the T-Wolves have been a better team than the Heat, so that's why I'm going to take Cat. I get he isn't the only player on that team, and he has more help than Bam does, 100%. But just because of that team's success, they have very similar numbers. I'll give Cat the slight edge, and he's been lights out from 3 all year. And I believe we're not going to have a lot more debate there, so I believe we're going to cut it there. That'll do it for us on Joe's Knows NBA, episode 5. Once again, I'm Joachim Prally, Avery Stetz here, Zaylu, and Izzy Metal. Thanks for watching. Follow us on TikTok at St. Joe Sports Shows, and we'll see you for the next episode next week. Thank you.